That first vlog was so goddamn good, I might win an Oscar. So obviously all the Instagram hoes are gonna be there.
It's 25.
Hang on, I took a picture of who had the lowest beat.
Crazy shit went down this weekend. I played live at the bike, my second time ever. I actually played Wednesday night and Thursday night. Wednesday was an awesome, fun game. It was Beth Cape's Instagram game. We played some, it was kind of a weird stake. It was 2, 3, 6. I had one of the lowest VPIPs, which just means I played the least amount of pots. So I had to wear this like fish hat. Here, we're gonna make a major comeback, me and my friend. Next night was one of the biggest games I've ever played in my life. 5, 10, 20, and then they had the 40 on about half the time. So it was a pretty big game. It was only a 3K cap. So that made it a little bit smaller, but it was wild. I wanna talk about a few of the hands that were unconventional. I kind of don't, just thinking about what I want to do with this vlog and the kind of direction I want to take it, I don't really want to talk about hands that are standard or normal. What I'm more interested in is talking about is more fun hands and the way I think and just getting into crazy shit. And without further ado, let's get into it. I decided to open it up in middle with the 4 deuce of hearts. My reasoning behind this is because I'm bored. And I get the 3-bet from Beth next to act. It folds back to me, and I kind of have a tough decision. On the one hand, I'm bored. And on the other hand, I have 4 high. When you're bored, you should just never fold.
We have a 3-bet from Zach. Pocket jacks. Marley calls out of position with 2 9s.
What's up?
David, you
Come
want
here
to
often?
2K last longer?
I'll tell you next week.
Huh?
I'll tell you next week. I'll let you know before.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, me neither.
No, where that match?
Down bet by Zach.
Yeah.
Looks like Marley's going to have to continue at least one time here.
It depends on how much you drink.
Whoa, and she goes for a check raise here.
I open pocket 9s to 40. I get 3-bet by someone who I think is a pretty solid, straightforward reg. I played with him a few nights ago in 5-10. He 3-bets me very large. He 3-bets me to 265, which is almost a 6.5 times 3-bet. 9s is just too good to fold, even at that price, so I call. Pretty standard so far. I only have 2150 to start the hand, so we're not that deep, like 200 big blinds deep. Flop comes down 10, 8, 4 rainbow. I check and he decides to down bet to 175. It's pretty standard to just call here, just getting an amazing price. But I decided to get a little bit crazy and I decided to check raise to 525, leaving myself with only like 1300 behind. Now this is a pretty crazy decision. This is not normal. I just want to like preface this by saying this is not what I normally do. This is not a standard play. It kind of feels like this is a sizing people usually take with like a more middling portion of their 3-betting range, ace queen, ace king, ace jack suited, or jacks, 10s, those type of hands. I decided that I think that he is the kind of player that is capable of folding a hand like jacks, obviously ace king and ace queen, and even though we're ahead of a lot of those hands, denying equity to those hands is just a huge win. The problem with this play and why people are going to tear me apart about it is because when we get called, we're dead. When we get called, we are way behind every single time. That's just the way it goes. I am only going to be shoving turns that I improve on, which are only 7s, 9s, or jacks. That's why it's not a normal play, but I decided to deviate a little bit from normal strategy here based on opponent, based on the sizing, and based on where I was at in my range. And I know, again, this is not normal, but I think it's interesting to talk about. It's interesting to talk about these things because this is just kind of like how I think, and it's kind of like maybe something that you could start thinking about as well if you like it.
I'll do 18 to 1 to you.
I could see a jam if there were like 2 clubs on the board, and he just folds
I'm
there.
not gonna lose.
Wow, and I just said he wasn't gonna fold. Okay, so Marley with a pocket queens.
Wait, I could totally do this.
Yes.
Hold on.
Novocaine putting in the
This is
squeeze.
gonna be the
She's just like so Hollywooding here right now. It's pretty hilarious.
You make it 500.
The next hand I wanted to talk about is a hand I played against my friend Alex, aka Novocaine Poker. A pretty active player at the table opens in the low jack, 250. She 3-bets in the high jack to 175, and I am in the small blind with pocket queens. She is only 2K effective, I have more, and also the low jack has more. I think it's a pretty clear 4-bet. I want to ISO Alex. She's a short stack. I think her 3-betting range is pretty wide here, and I'm just crushing it. I don't want to lay the third player a good price, and my hand's just too strong to flat, and I'm out of position. So I decided to 4-bet. At the time, I did not like my sizing. I regretted going a little bit small. I made it 500, which is just a hair shy of 3x. But I think I wanted to go bigger just because I want to threaten her stack. She's only got 100 big blinds, and I kind of want to just like threaten her stack pre-flop, make her make a decision. I am giving her a pretty good price, so she calls and we see a flop, which comes King 9-4 rainbow.
And Novocaine, like a boss, is just gonna peel here, and she's gonna spike the king in a bloated pot. There's a pot and a half size bet left by Novocaine.
What do you do in this situation?
You hate money, huh?
Novocaine thinking, how can I extract the most value possible here? She's gonna bet 625.
She's like, let me wait for my chips to get here so I can jam them.
It's a pretty big bet here on a dry board.
Thank you.
She can probably get away with a little bit smaller.
605. She bet 625.
I think you might be right.
She knows her opponent. She knows Marley's not going to believe her because they have gambled before. Some levels going on between these two girls.
What's halftime line, Check.
Turn 10. And Novocaine's going to go all in for 870. And Marley snap
My favorite
folds.
girl in girl poker.
To be honest with you, I was like, I was trying to calculate all my chips.
She bets 625, and it's just a really shitty situation for me here. It's like, in hindsight, I should just dump it. I mean, it just blows to check fold here to 1-bet in a 4-bet pot. Pretty general strategy was to just like be checking 100 on the flop, or betting very, very small, but I think checking 100 and at least peeling 1 off with queens. That's a pretty general way to go. But I think that I missed an opportunity for an adjustment there and making a big fold. I'm back in Vegas now, so gonna be back to my original home turf at the Wynn, which I love more than anything. I'm gonna be back with some new hands and fucking insight and genius comments for you next time. It is what it is.